January 18th will, of course, be UFC 311, where Islam Makhachev takes on Arman Tsarukyan for the rematch for the UFC Lightweight World Championship and pound for pound #1 status. Now, of course, there's some other fights as Dvalishvili defends his Bantamweight World Championship against the undefeated Umar Nurmagomedov. And, of course, a battle of former champions as Prochazka takes on Jamal Hill. Now, of course, there's some other good fights on the card, but we will only be talking about these three. Now, of course, the battle of the former champions starts off with Jamal Hill. Sweet Dreams, 12-2, 7 wins by way of knockout, 5 decision wins, and 2 losses by way of knockout. Of course, one of them was against Paul Craig, where his arm got just destroyed, and Alex Pereira, the fluke win, obviously. But besides that, of course, he won his title against Glover Teixeira via unanimous decision. But besides that, he is known for his power and his awkward style. Very awkward. You see his feet, you think, ooh, how did this dude ever become champion? Well, he did, and that's all that matters. Now, of course, Prochazka, BJP, is 30-5, 26 wins by way of knockout, 3 submissions, and has only gone decision twice, actually. He's only been decision twice. Now, of course, his 5 losses, 4 by knockout and 1 by submission. Now, of course, 2 of them come by Alex Pereira, both in the second round. And his draw came back in 2014. But besides that, he won his title against Glover Teixeira as well. So, obviously, these people have a common opponent. Now, of course, Prochazka's 3rd submission win came against Glover Teixeira. And, of course, he is a very, very strong fighter, as do believe he is the only one to really knock out Volkan Ozdemir. Of course, only 2 people have ever done that, one being Prochazka. But besides that, the way it's going to go is simple. It's going to be Jamal Hill. I'm sorry. It's going to be Jamal. Jamal Hill's going to knock him out. I'm sorry. I don't care how, he's weird. He has weird foot placement. Like, Prochazka doesn't block punches with his face. Like, literally. You seen him fight? He literally blocks punches with his face. I'm sorry, but that's not going to work at all. Now, of course, Hill does have quite a bit of openings with his combos. You could attempt to punch in between those shots. But at the same time, no. He could attempt to wrestle Jamal Hill, but Prochazka's wrestling isn't really up there, in the elite level. So although he could probably snag like a round from wrestling, he's going to have to stand up with Hill. And then that's where I think Hill's just going to hit him with a straight left shot and knock him out. Give me Jamal Hill, 2nd round stoppage win. Again, Prochazka really can't get past the 2nd round in terms of his losses. Matter of fact, he actually can't. All his losses have been under 3 rounds. This man can't make it to the 3rd round. That being said, 2nd round stoppage win for Jamal Hill. Don't at me. Now, of course, the next one is a little bit more talking to it, which is Dvalishvili defending his title against Umar Nurmagomedov. Now, of course, Nurmagomedov is 18-0, 2 wins by way of knockout, 7 submission wins, and 9 decisions. So obviously quite a bit of decisions under his name. He is coming off of his best win to date, being the highly ranked Corey Sandhagen, which was basically a gift to him, because Sandhagen, let's just say he's a good defensive wrestler, but no one really thought anything else, right? But besides that, that is his basically only good win, that being against the Corey Sandhagen. And of course, Dvalishvili, the Machine, 18-4, 3 wins by way of knockout, 1 submission win, and 14 decisions. So a lot more decisions under his name. Now, of course, losses, 1 by submission and 3 by decision. So obviously, he has been choked out before via guillotine. But besides that, he is somewhat a durable man. Of course, he is coming off of the win for the title against the champion Sean O'Malley. Now, of course, in terms of resume, no one can deny Merab's, as he has defeated a bunch of former champions back to back. He beat the former featherweight world champion Jose Aldo. He beat the former bantamweight world champion Petr Yan. He beat the former flyweight and bantamweight world champion Henry Cejudo. And he's beaten the, at the time, current bantamweight world champion Sean O'Malley. Now, of course, those are quite a bit of different styles. Now, of course, you know where I'm going to go with this. O'Malley's more of a striker. Cejudo's a wrestler. Petr Yan's kind of just jack of all trades. Pretty good at almost anything, especially if you saw his Davison Figueiredo fight. Jose Aldo, a great fighter, although older. You know what? I'm going to go with that. Give me Merab Dvalishvili by decision win against Umar Nurmagomedov. Now, of course, Nurmagomedov, people are giving him his high praises and all that stuff because of the last name, which, to be fair, makes sense. You know that he has a bunch of good people in his corner, a bunch of people in his camp that will prepare him very nicely against Merab. The difference is Merab has seen literally everything. He has fought against the best. He has fought against different styles. He has fought against the elite for quite a bit of time. Now, of course, mostly because he didn't want to fight his friend, Aljamain Sterling. But besides that, he still really much fought different styles on his way to become champion. Umar, not the same thing. Now, of course, I'm not saying Merab's going to straight up just submit Umar. No, I think it's going to be a very competitive fight for 2 rounds. But that's where Merab's gas tank comes in. Now, of course, when his name is The Machine, he literally is The Machine. His cardio is off the charts. Even with great wrestling like Henry Cejudo, he will gas you out. And that's the thing with Umar. That's what I'm going to say is going to happen with Umar. Umar has not fought the wide array of elite opposition like Merab. So what I'm going to say is Merab is going to drown Umar. He's going to drown him. He can't submit him because, he only has 1 submission to it. He has more knockouts than submissions. So obviously Merab's not going to submit Umar. But I think he's going to wrestle him until he can't handle it anymore. And give me Merab by unanimous decision, defending his title. Now, of course, the main event. Armin Tsarukyan, I will not be pronouncing his nickname. 22-3, 9 wins by way of knockout, 5 submission wins, and 8 decisions. Now, of course, that is a jack of all trades. He is pretty efficient in all arts of combat. 3 losses, 1 by knockout, and 2 by decision. Now, of course, one of those was a late replacement fight against Islam Makhachev. That's right. I think this was his big debut, I do believe. It was a debut against Islam Makhachev, the soon-to-be pound-for-pound king. Now, of course, he did lose that fight, but it was somewhat of a competitive fight, especially in the grappling. So safe to assume Armin can hang with Islam, right? His other loss came by Gamrot by unanimous decision. Some people thought maybe he should have gone his way. I don't know. That's what I heard. That's what the word is, right? But his one loss was back in 2015, so safe to assume he has quite literally evolved as a fighter. The champion, Islam Makhachev, 26-1, 5 wins by way of knockout, 12 submissions, and 9 decisions. Still somewhat proficient in all forms of combat, but mostly a submission artist. 1 loss, that being by knockout back in 2015 against Adriano Martins, where he lost in the first round, which you could say was a fluke loss, but at the same time, not really. Kind of got caught with his hands down. It happens to the best of them, But besides that, he has faced quite a bit of people in terms of resume. Islam Makhachev and Armin Tsarukyan are basically around the same. Of course, Makhachev's best win is Dan Hooker, Bobby Green, obviously back-to-back. Charles Oliveira for the title. Obviously, he got the title shot after beating Bobby Green, which is whatever. But it doesn't matter because he won anyways. He beat Alexander Volkanovski back-to-back again. Now, of course, the first one was decision, where many people thought Volkanovski won that fight. The next one was a late replacement. I don't know what was going on there, so I'm not going to say too much. But it was safe to assume it wasn't the best Volkanovski, right? But it doesn't matter. He knocked him out in the first round. He then submitted Dustin Poirier in the 5th round. Very competitive fight. I actually had Poirier up. I thought Makhachev needed the finish. He did get the finish. That's all that matters. Of course, Tsarukyan, best wins are, of course, Beneil Dariush and Charles Oliveira. Now, of course, those are very, very, when I say they're somewhat similar, what I mean is Makhachev's best win is Volkanovski, featherweight. Dustin Poirier, no offense to the aging fighter, who's already been submitted by literally every other champion, so I'm not saying that it's different. And Bobby Green. No, and also Charles Oliveira, my bad. And they both beat Charles Oliveira. Now, of course, one by split decision, that being Tsarukyan, 3rd round, 3 rounds. Makhachev submitted Oliveira, so it's very different, right? Very different. But the difference is Oliveira is a lot more of a offensive trap wrestler, if that makes any sense. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. But the one I'm choosing is, who I'm going to choose. I'm picking the upset. That's right, I'm picking the upset. Give me Armin Tsarukyan decision win against Islam Makhachev. The way it's going to work is simple. We have already seen in the first fight that he can wrestle with the best of them. right? He's wrestled with Makhachev. Now you could say, oh, Makhachev didn't get enough time to prepare. At the end of the day, it benefited Makhachev a little bit more than Tsarukyan, right? I'm just going to call him Armin at this point. I don't even know why I'm switching, right? But it kind of benefited Armin for the most part. In terms of striking, they can strike now, basically. Now Armin can basically strike, with the best of them. He can strike, without really any repercussions of, oh, he's going to wrestle me, he's going to submit me. He already knows that his wrestling is top notch. So now he can start swinging punches, maybe hurting Islam. Especially when we saw how Dustin Poirier was doing against Islam, even with the submission threat. So Armin's probably going to do better in the stand-up than Poirier, which is weird to say. His submission game will obviously keep him out of trouble for the most part. And I just think that Armin will find a way to steal a couple rounds. That's what I think. That's what I'm banking off. I'm banking off of Armin stealing some rounds. I don't know. Maybe he does some axe kick again or something and he splits Islam open, right? So my thought process is this. Islam is great, but with how good Armin's wrestling is, his submission isn't really going to be there for him, if you know what I mean. Don't get me wrong, it's there to win a round, gain points. You get what I'm talking about. You get what I'm saying, right? But it's going to be the stand-up where Armin's going to be doing better, stealing some rounds from Islam. Islam gets like a good slam, you never know. Ends up back on the feet, Armin lands some like back fist or something, I don't know. But that's my thought process. Give me Armin Tsarukyan. Unanimous decision win. Give me Merab Dvalishvili defending his title via unanimous decision, and give me Jamal Hill's second round stoppage win. But that's about it. Hope you enjoyed this video. The next one is, I don't even know, a lot of these fights are getting canceled. But besides that, hope you enjoy this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.